Going. Okay everyone, we're back here for part 2 of the body prep tutorial. I'm going to shoot the first base coat, and I'm using the House of Color brand, or Burgundy Candy. Like I say, this is ready to spray. It's already been reduced. I've got it in my Grex gravity feed airbrush. Nothing's been done to it, straight out of the bottle. I'm not going to turn the booth on here because the thing's too noisy. So now this is right after I've prepped the body and got it where I think it's pretty close. This is where most people would go in with a primer coat. I do not use a primer coat at this stage. So I'm going to start just getting a light mist coat of the actual color that I'm going to be using on the car. And like I say, this is a lacquer paint. You got to do some testing sometimes depending on you know, what body you're working with or what style plastic. It's not always compatible with all plastics directly on it, so definitely, you know, do a test and make sure that it's compatible. So like I say, I'm just going around now and I'm just putting a light mist coat on the body. And what this will do is tell me where there's any high or low spots. And I also try to get underneath of the car and the wheel wells as I'm doing this stage here. Like I say, you still want the, like in this case, the white part of the body, you still want it to show through. You don't want to cover it up. And I can already see a couple areas that need work. Just by spraying this light coat over it. You know, for you guys that use a can or something like that, I mean, this right here is going to be very, very hard for you to do. Spraying a mist coat like this out of a can is, it can be done, but I highly recommend an airbrush. If you're looking to produce a nice quality paint job, airbrushes are the way to go. You know, that's not saying you can't do it with a can. It can be done. There's many people that paint with cans, but believe it or not, it's a whole lot easier to do it with an airbrush than it is a can. So, you know, definitely, if you're not using an airbrush yet, definitely put that on your to get list, and because it's a very handy tool to have. So as you can see, we've got a pretty good mist coat over the body. Now what I like to do at this stage is actually pick the body up and come underneath of the wheel wells and get a little bit heavier of a coat under those. And I may or may not on this body do a white base coat under it. It's going to all depend on what it looks like after I sand this out, and I'll let you know at that point. House of Color makes a white base coat that I use underneath of a lot of their colors, but since this body is white to begin with, I may not do it. If I can get everything to work out just like you see me doing here, then this will not get a base coat. It will be the House of Color paint directly onto the plastic. A lot of people say it can't be done. Well, I'm doing it right in front of you. No ill effects. It can be done. You just have to experiment a little bit, and like I say, make sure that your body is compatible to these paints before you commit to doing a full paint job, because if this stuff's not compatible, you're going to have a big mess right now. And if you try to strip this off, you're going to pretty much ruin the body doing it. I'm not a person that strips paint. Like I've said in my other videos, if I've got to strip the paint off of a car with purple power or any of that kind of stuff, brake fluid or something like that, I won't do it. I'll throw it in the trash can. So as you can see, all we did is just put a light coat on it, nothing crazy. That looks pretty good as is. What I'm going to be looking for is low spots, high spots, and when I come back over here to the booth after prepping this, this body will probably be pretty much all white again, except for the recesses like around and where the openings are for the hood, and a few spots like down here in front of the headlight and where the fake grill openings are. You'll still see some of it back in the door handles, the tail light area. Pretty much all your recesses is where you'll still see the color coat. But the main part of the body that we're trying to get smooth will all be white again. So hopefully that gives you an idea on the first stage that I do as far as prepping. I've used very little bit of paint just to give you an idea. That was full when I started, and that's what's left in it. That's the good thing about an airbrush. They use very little bit of paint. If you was doing that with a can, you'd be through about 1/8 of a can right now. So I used maybe 1/8 of an inch out of that cup on that airbrush. So if you have any questions on this part of the video, just leave me a comment on the video, and I'll be more than glad to get back to you. So I'm going to leave you on that, and we'll start working on the next video here shortly. That should be up tonight. So stay tuned for that, and like always, I thank you for watching, and we'll talk to you later.